just got out of Cadbury's World and I bought some chocolate and I nearly finished it.
Good going.
Nearly done.
To be fair, it's a very, very small chocolate bar. And for the Cadbury Professor, it's only appropriate that the Cadbury Professor is eating Cadbury's chocolate.
I just don't know I can't get a discount. I think you should have mentioned that.
We should have flagged it.
Yeah.
Other chocolate bars are, of course, available, but just not half as good.
No.
So, Candida, do you have a favourite part of the Bible at all?
Lots of favourite parts, or maybe not a favourite part, but my favourite gospel is Mark, for sure.
Okay. Cool. And yeah, I'm a bit of a Mark fan, so I spent a lot of time studying John's Gospel when I was doing my undergrad work, and he does get all the publicity and kind of all the commentaries, and loads of people seem to like him, and Mark sometimes gets a bit underestimated, really, doesn't he?
Yeah, there are a lot of people who seem to think that you could just throw Mark out, because, you have Matthew and Luke and John. Why do you need a gospel that just seems to be like an abbreviated, less well-written version of the others?
Yeah, and he leaves quite a lot out, really, in some ways, doesn't he? There's loads of stuff that's not there.
Okay, but to be fair to Mark, right? Mark is the first one. Does he leave things out, or do they add stuff in?
Okay, yeah.
And I think that the way Mark is structured is really beautiful. Okay, so you don't have an infancy story, but that's because he starts with this scene of God claiming Jesus, and then he ends with an empty tomb and a sort of implicit message that you should go out and spread the good news of who Jesus was.
Right, yeah. But there's no kind of great pausing for huge theological speeches or anything like that, is there? There's no Sermon on the Mount, or there's no I am sayings or anything like that. It's much more energetic and quite abrupt in some ways, really. It sort of, well, the whole gospel, but Jesus in the gospel as well, sort of gets on with it and does stuff and then moves on when he's done it, almost, doesn't he?
Yeah, there's a reason why people say that Mark is a passion narrative with extended introduction, because the mission part is so abbreviated and short, and so everything's moving very, very quickly towards this end goal, and so it's quite a clip, really. But it's not there are no speeches, but there's a lot of narrative theology in Mark. So Mark may not have big pronouncements about ethics or complicated speeches about Jesus' identity, but there are scenes that are sort of crafted to convey a message about who Jesus is. When you read the story of the Transfiguration, the way that the disciples, Peter, James, and John, behave is the way people behaved when they had an experience with the Greek deities, an epiphany story.
Okay.
And I think a lot of the imagery there is Judaism, but the culture that made it possible to think of a human being as a god is essentially Greco-Roman. Okay. And so here you have the story that you hear that conveys this message to you about who Jesus was, about this hidden identity of Jesus. And no, he's not going to really kind of give you a long discourse about what that means, but you get the message.